What's happening, y'all? Top of the evening to you. Man, it seems later than it is, doesn't it? It's, I don't know the real time. I've got this watch on that's never accurate. About 5 something. 5:35-ish on the 10th of January, Pacific time. I hope you guys are well. So, excuse me, I have some interesting data for you. This is great. It's so cool, the stuff that we can do these days. So what I want to share with you in this particular Facebook Live, if you're watching it with me on the Facebooks, is that there's some pretty cool tools out there that will allow you to spy on your competition, or really anybody that you want to spy on, in a non-creepy way. So before I tell you about these tools and tell you how I'm using them, I want to clarify something. All right. Modeling is totally different from copying. All right. I'm in no way suggesting that you copy anybody or you use any of these tools to try to emulate somebody else's persona or anything like that. That's probably obvious. You know what I mean? But the whole funnel hacking idea. With all due credit to Russell, he's a smart guy and a good fella, is probably best, instead of figuring out how to funnel hack your competitors, just figure out how to be better than your competitors. So I'm going to share with you this spying data here. I'm going to share this spying data with you, but under those circumstances, all right? I'm not telling you to copy anybody. It's not like how we're doing it. Okay. So here's the deal. All right, on December 1st, I had this brilliant idea. All right, notice the sarcasm. I was like, hey, I've got an idea. All those people that have been saying you should post regularly on social media, and those guys that are making a metric boat ton of money by doing so, more than you, Frankie, why don't you see if there's anything to what they're saying and start posting really regularly on social media? So I did, starting December 1st, all right? Did it kind of slowly, so as we got from December 1st to today, my activity in terms of posting content has been kind of going up like this, I got the idea from basically listening to the people who were doing a good job of this, listen to what they were saying. But more importantly, modeling their behavior. So this is thing number 1, totally obvious, nothing new, but worth saying, okay? If someone's getting a result that you want to get, probably pretty smart to see what they're doing and model it. Again, don't copy what, their style or whatever, but just model the activity. All right? So I started posting stuff on social. Now for me, easiest way to do it is just to turn the camera on and go live. I don't know about y'all, but everybody knows, that video and stuff is more engaging and all of that stuff than image posts and everything for social media. So I'm like, okay, cool, video, that'll be good. But then, if you try to make a video and make the camera fancy and do a script and get the lighting right, and it's just horrible, and it's a pain in the butt, right? So I was like, okay, screw all that stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go live, mainly because it's easy. You just turn on the camera and here you go, So did that, and then started doing it more and more and more and more and more. And then started taking the stuff I downloaded, taking the stuff on Facebook, downloading it, putting it on YouTube, etc. And it's been working pretty good. Now, to give you an idea of how well it's worked, we have sold over $300,000 worth of stuff from organic traffic. All right, meaning the free stuff that I'm posting on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and podcasts. Done over $300,000 in sales since December 1st. Crazy, right? As a matter of fact, we are at 3 plus about 4,500 for the day so far from organic sales. It's bonkers. It's kind of I don't want to use the term free money because there's no such thing, but there's no ad cost here, so I'm thrilled. Of course, we still advertise, etc. Anyway, back to the point. So then I started thinking okay, obviously, it's smart to publish a lot and make content and put it on social and make offers and everything. But what's the right amount to do? How much should you do? I ain't even know. And that's where I started spying. Said like that. Spying in the creepiest way possible. I started spying on Grant Cardone and my man Gary V. I know Grant, I don't know Gary, but I still call him my man Gary because I've listened to so much of his stuff. It feels like you know it, you know? So there's this little tool. There's 2 tools out there, 2 of them. Probably more than that, but there's 2 that I like. One especially, right? Super tool that I really, really like is something called Agora Pulse. AGORAPULSE. If somebody would type that into the comments, because I don't want to type on the phone, it'll mess everything up, that'd be great, because I know all y'all probably want to know the tool, right? And the other one called socialinsider.io. So here's what Agora Pulse can do. Agora Pulse will allow you to input anybody you want in this reporting section, and then it'll tell you how often they post on Facebook, how much engagement they get, how many people are talking to them, how many followers they're getting every day. It'll average all that stuff out to like an average amount per day, right? Now, think about this, okay? If we can accept this concept as relatively true, which is, all right, if someone's getting a result you want, it's pretty smart to model them, not copy them again, model them, at least model the behavior. And then we have this tool that says, here is exactly what they're doing, which is posting on social media X amount of times per day. Kind of makes sense to figure out what that is and then do it, you know? So who do you think's winning? I did it like a little death match. I would show it to you on my computer, but the lighting's so bad in here, I'm just gonna do it on my phone, so I can't pull it up the computer screen and show you, but I wrote it down here. Trusty notebook, new age technology. All right, who do you think's winning? We got Kern versus Cardone versus Gary Vaynerchuk for the Facebook death match. Curious, who do you think is winning in the amount of posts per day? Type the name of the person you think is winning in the comments, and I'll make a little offer to you while you're doing that. So the strategy, because you're probably thinking like, how in the hell did Kern, who went from never posting organic content on social media to doing 300 grand in sales on social media, and you know, however many days that is, today's the 10th, so 40 days, right? How in the hell did you do that, Frankie? Well, I'm using a strategy called intent-based branding. Part 1 of it is post organically. Part 2 is understand that every post can be an asset that continues to bring you money. Part number 3 is advertising. All right. If you would like to learn how to use intent-based branding in your business and you'd like me and my team to help you do it and train you on how to do it, I've got a class that teaches you how. Go to brandingcall.com. That's brandingcall.com. If someone would type the URL in the comments, I would appreciate it. Okay. End offer. All right. So you always want to make offers in your content. That's one thing I do differently than these dudes. Okay, so naturally I can't see all the votes because my screen doesn't show me. I'll tell you the winner. I think most of you guys guessed it right. It is coming in first, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from, I think it's Lake Charles, Louisiana. My man, Grant Cardone, coming in at, on average, from December 1st until today, on average, according to Agora Pulse, anyway, 7.7 posts per day on the Facebooks, all right? That's our boy Grant Cardone. Coming in second, weighing in at about 201 pounds. All right, weighing in at about 250 pounds from the lovely state of Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia's a state now. Your main man, frank+kern, between December 1st and today, 4.6 posts per day on the social. Coming in last, Gary V from New York. I guess it's the South versus New York. You know, we gotta somehow take them. So Gary V at 2.8 posts per day. All right, so what's this telling you? More is better. Incidentally, the revenue kind of tracks along with it. Now, both of these guys make more money than me. At least they do on the gross, right? I would assume they both do. You know, I mean, Gary, I can't remember what the thing is. I think it's 150 million a year or something. VaynerMedia, good for him. Grant, good Lord. You know, just obnoxious amounts of money. I think, actually, I don't think I should share it, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Like the amount they net is ridiculous. So he's like easily hands down the winner, right? In terms of revenue being produced, okay? So, and he's got the most followers, incidentally, most reach as well. So if we look at that, it indicates that, hey man, the money is in doing this more, right? The money is clearly in doing this more. Now, I did another research, and I used that. I keep always always forget, socialinsider.io. Socialinsider.io is an Instagram analysis thing. Not quite as cool as Agora Pulse in terms of the recording from my perspective anyway, but still cool. Cool enough to like check it out, all right? So I like looked at me versus Grant versus Gary, and it'll let you do comparisons and everything. They're winning. They're winning in terms of the amount of posts on Instagram. But where they're really winning is the amount of engagement on Instagram. By the way, I'm beating both of those dudes in terms of engagement, percentage-wise engagement, like how many, comparatively speaking, my reach to theirs, the engagement, I'm getting more engagement, which is awesome. All right, and I'm also getting more people talking about my stuff than they are, because Agora Pulse shows you all that stuff, right, which is awesome. So I guess here's one thing we want to take away from all of this stuff so far. All right, thing number one, someone's got what you want to get, which is a lot of like fame, money, whatever it is, contribution. Both of those guys help a lot of people as well. You might want to model their behavior. In this case, the winner, Grant, 7.7 Facebook posts a day. Okay, awesome. Now, thing number two that might have escaped you is this. Now, the name of the game is engagement, right? So both of these dudes have like years head start over me. And again, that's just me. I'm just, come on, you know, everybody who said you should do social, y'all told me so, you're right. Damn it. You know, I just started in December of 2018. It's embarrassing. But my man Kern here is getting more engagement than these dudes. So look at Frankie compared to Gary, compared to Grant. What are they both doing that I ain't doing? They both being fancy, right? They got really fancy videos. I've got some, but 90% of my videos are just like this, right? I'll just come to y'all live, and then I'll take this footage and I'll edit it and chop it up a little bit, and we'll put a headline over it, and it ain't even that fancy. You've seen them, right? So it ain't fancy. So here's what we can potentially take from that. Data's a little bit early, but my conclusion, at least this is what I'm taking, this is what I'm personally taking from it. You ain't gotta be fancy. I ain't fancy. I'm shooting this on my phone, and when I gotta get super fancy, I'll shoot it from my laptop using BeLive.tv so I can share the screen and stuff. That's the only reason I ever use the laptop, or in case the phone's dead, right? So here's what we know, all right? So let's just kind of assume that we can take both of these things as like a trending, factually accurate, you know. Number one, more posts equal better. Number two, ain't gotta be fancy. Big deal. And here's why, all right? When I said Grant does 7.7 a day just on Facebook, I saw comments. People were like, man, that's crazy. That's so much. Really? I mean, yeah, I guess it's a lot if you have to go into full Hollywood production mode of every single post. Now, remember, my man ain't going live 7 times a day. I just choose to go live because it's easy. I mean, turn on camera, point at face, talk. Pretty simple, you know, 3 easy steps, right? So these dudes aren't going live every day. I mean, Grant will do 7.7 posts, and one of them's an image post with some, you know, yada, 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 and some of them's a video and stuff, and sometimes it's live. He's more Instagram live than Facebook live. So 7.7 isn't a lot, especially if you're not fancy, you know? And here's why, right? Because you don't have to come up with brand new, groundbreaking content every single day. All right, it's not like you've got to reinvent the wheel all the time, okay? So here's another thing I've learned from spying on these dudes in the creepiest possible way. You know, I don't know why, it's just funny for me to say the creepiest possible, because I'm talking about spying on these guys, you know. But I'm not really, I'm just checking it out. Like, hey, what are they doing? All right, with both of these dudes, I've noticed that they have 3 core messaging pillars, all right? And this is my observation. This is like, for all I know, you know, they could be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But this is basically my interpretation of watching their social media presence. They've got 3 core messaging pillars, all right? Meaning they're talking about one of 3 main categories of discussion damn near every time, if not literally every time. All right, so for our main man Grant, here's his 3 categories of discussion as I, an outsider, have observed. Again, you know, yeah, who knows, right? This is just my opinion of what's going on. All right, so category number 1, you got to get your money right. Got to get your money right. How many times have you heard Grant say that in that Louisiana accent? Got to get your money right. Such a car dude. I grew up in the car business, so, you know, I recognize it. So great. Love it. All right, so you got to get your money right. And then under that category is like middle-class money management is no good. It's dumb. Saving. You shouldn't be buying a house. You should be investing, all this kind of stuff. Got to get your money right. That's number 1. Pillar number 2, category of stuff my man's talking about all the time, is going to be real estate investing is the greatest thing ever, specifically multifamily homes, right? So that's a whole other mousetrap down there. And category number 3 is you got to be selling. You know, you got to learn how to sell. Get out there and hustle and grind and sell. Sales is the best thing ever. You got to learn how to sell, right? So, like, those are kind of the three main areas of conversation. You know, I was listening to his podcast the other day. It was episode 400 something. I've listened to a whole bunch of them too, by the way. Kind of always saying one of those three main categories, at least from my filter. You know, and so that's cool, right? Because it means it's not like you got to go out and have, you know, 42,000 freaking topics to talk about. Just kind of come up with three main things you're mostly talking about, and then keep it between those columns. You're good to go. All right. Our main man Gary, I always forget what his are. Damn it. Let's see what Gary's are. It's been a while since I listened to it. Well, number one, clearly, social media is the greatest thing ever. Duh. All right, so social media is the greatest thing ever. That's thing number one. I think thing number two would probably be now is the time. Right? Like, this is the greatest opportunity ever. We've never been faced with this much opportunity, and here's why, right? And I agree on both fronts wholeheartedly. By the way, totally support everything my man's doing. Again, as I talk about these dudes, I'm doing it with, like, the utmost, you know, coolness to them. I like both those guys a lot. And then thing number three is you got to hustle. Right? He's real big on that. Like, man, you got to work your ass off. I work 24 hours a day. In fact, I work 28 hours a day. I'm able to somehow get, you know, extra hours in the day. I swear that dude probably doesn't sleep. Again, I don't know, Gary. I'm a fan. All right, so those are his three core things. So when I say, all right, man, Grant's winning, he does 7.7 posts a day, all he's got to do is talk about something in one of those three areas, okay? So there's only three things that we're going to talk about. You just choose whichever your three core messages are. By the way, if you want to, like, really do this and be very, very serious about it and model the intent-based branding strategy, go to brandingcall.com. Ugliest website you've ever seen. It's literally a blue button that you press, and then there's like a form. And fill out that little form, and you can talk to Tyler from my office. He'll give you some ideas that, like, how to use this stuff for your business if it's appropriate, and then he'll tell you about our class. And if you want to take the class, great. And if you don't, no problem. Pretty laid-back organization we got here. But if you're interested, go to brandingclass.com. No charge for the call with Tyler. There is a catch, though. You got to be selling stuff, all right? So, like, if you don't have a business or a sales process, I don't really want to enroll you in the class or take your money or anything. It's kind of weird. Just keep watching my free stuff. But if you're selling stuff, go to brandingcall.com. All right, so here's other thing, reason number whatever, as to why posting 7.7 times a day is really not a big deal. Because you ain't got to make new stuff. Like, we already know there's the three core messaging pillars, but dude, even if you basically said the same two things over and over again, you're probably not going to be that bad off. And here's why. You're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, right? Look at your news feed. Like, unless you engage with my stuff constantly, you're not going to see it all the time. Right? Now, some people that watch all of these lives, like Facebook's algorithm, they're going to keep showing you my stuff. But it's only because you engage with it. Most people don't engage at that level. So the average user, if you, like, put up a post today, they're going to see it. It's going to be in their newsfeed, and then an hour later, it's gone because it's down, especially on Instagram. Right? So if you post 7 times a day, which is roughly every 3 hours, okay, then it's not like the same people are going to see it every single time, which means you could literally post the exact same thing. I've done it. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but if you have, just say, I've noticed in the comments, especially over the past, like, 4 days, since Monday of this week, if you've noticed me posting the same video 2 or 3 times in the news feed, right? Yeah, so if you've noticed, that's great. If you haven't, that's even better, okay? Because, look, it's great that you haven't noticed because y'all are a hyper-engaged audience, and I'm not having to make new stuff. Now, I still come on live every day. Now I'm trying to do twice a day. I'm going to try to get it up to 3 times a day, by the way, because why not? It's fun. It gives me fodder for content. I enjoy talking to y'all. It helps people, and it builds the audience. I'm able to make offers every time. But regardless, you can just keep on doing this thing, right? You can keep going. There's no thing. There's no problem. So, summarize, here's what I learned from spying on a couple of dudes. Here's what I've learned. Number one, post a lot. Grant's clearly the winner in revenue, probably. All right. I mean, I would like be willing to place a sizable wager that he's the winner in revenue, generally speaking. 7.7 times a day. That's the big thing, number one. Big thing number two, it ain't got to be fancy, because I based that on, in case you're just joining us, I'm getting more engagement than both of those guys, meaning more people, comparatively speaking, right? On a ratio basis. I'm getting more engagement than them, and my stuff ain't fancy, where theirs is super fancy. You know, I mean, it's really, really cool looking, especially Gary's. You know, Gary's stuff looks really, really good. Now both of them look really, really good. Their production quality. Mine's not so fancy because I ain't got time, right? So you ain't got to be fancy. That's thing number two that you can ascertain from all of my spying. The tools I use are Agora Pulse and oh hell, my screensaver. What was it? Socialexaminer.io. Really crazy about Agora Pulse, by the way. And that's it, right? So if all the stuff I'm talking about, by the way, is a part of a bigger picture approach called intent-based branding. 3 pillars to it. Pillar number 1, you post a lot of content. I start with lives. By the way, you know I can take the footage from the live and then chop it up into a smaller video, which we do all the time. All right, so start with lives. We put out a lot of free organic content to people. That content is designed to give value, build goodwill, and make an offer. So I make an offer in every single one. Pillar number 2 of intent-based branding is every one of these things is an asset for your business. Every piece of content, especially video, that can continue to serve your business long after you've made it. Pillar number 3 is after about a month of doing this stuff, if you choose, it's optional but recommended. Pillar number 3 is advertising. You take your best content, turn it into an ad, and start running that. It's got a better chance of winning, a lot less risky right out of the gate. All advertising is risky, but this diminishes it a little bit. So that's what intent-based branding is. That third step is optional. I do recommend it, though. If you want to learn how to do intent-based branding, like come up with what to say, you know, how do you structure your content, how do you find out what your core messaging pillars are, how do you make an offer every freaking day without like driving people crazy, go to brandingcall.com. brandingcall.com, and you can set up a time to talk to Tyler. Now, again, it's a horrible website. It's literally a blue button. It redirects to a type form, actually. It's a blue button you have to press, and then there's some forms and stuff. There's like 4 questions or something, and then you can schedule a call with Tyler. The only catch is you got to be selling something. You know, so if you're not like actually selling anything, then we won't schedule the call because like, what's the point? What are you going to build a brand for? You know, it's like, here, let's help you continue not selling anything. So there is that that little catch to the whole thing there. Yeah, so nice to see all y'all again. Thank you for joining me. 120 people on at the drop of a hat here, almost 6 o'clock. What day is it? Thursday. And thank you for watching so much. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you tomorrow. I've got clients coming in tomorrow, my flagship clients. Still going to come to you live, though it might be later in the day. We'll see. All right? But regardless, we're still going strong. Take it easy, everybody.